Hello, Paul. Hello, Stacy. Hello, Robert. How you guys doing? Hello. Okay. All right. Now, I was thinking about this afternoon, and in all reality, I mean, I don't really know anybody here except for online, and I don't know what level you're really at. So I give you all this stuff, and you say you understand it, and we talk about reading, and everybody's at a different level, and I'm trying to find out what level we're all at. So I said that I'm going to write out a few reading things, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to work a little bit tonight. Hey Jim, how you doing? Out of the syncopation book and the Buddy Rich book. I believe it's the same thing in the back, unless he changed it. Yeah, he did. This is the drum set application. All right, let's do the other one. Yeah, the reading's the same. All right, so I'm going to wait for Dennis, okay, and Old Dog and Seth and all those guys. So we're going to do some reading tonight rather, and we're going to do it tomorrow, okay? And I want to see where everybody is at, and also Mr. Mante. We're going to do some reading. We're going to do the Buddy Rich book or the syncopation book, whichever everybody has. Now, when you're reading rhythm, it's not, we're not doing melody lines like this is C, this is A, this is B flat, this is in the key of G, this is the mode, ba-ding, bong, and all that stuff. We're working with rhythmic concepts. And you should be, Dennis, and you should all be kind of versed in basic fractions. Like, I'm sure everybody knows a whole pie, you cut it in half, so you have 2 halves. Then you cut those halves in half, and you got 4 quarters. Then you have 8/8 and 16/16. And that's what we're going to be working with tonight. The quarter note, the 8th note, and the 16th note. Now, we all understand. And I'm going to ask some questions, and I'm going to ask somebody for the answer. And this is going to tell me where we're at. So the first victim is Dennis. All right, Dennis. How many 16ths are equal to 1/8? Ding, 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 ding. How many 16ths are equal to 1/8? All right. I think that we should all work 2/8. That's right. Are you a carpenter, Dennis? You work with a ruler a lot? Or was that just the lag in here? All right, we're going to start very simple and we're going to build. And where the question is, that's where we're all at, okay? So we're going to go to the syncopation book, page 10. And we're going to talk about, first off, systems of counting and time signatures. Here, if you look at page 10, he has a C, which refers to common time. Common time is 4/4 time. Now, what does 4/4 time mean? Okay, the top number indicates the number of beats per measure. So you have 4/4. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Measure. The bottom number indicates the kind of note that gets the count or a beat. So you're going to have four beats to a measure, and each quarter note receives the count or the beat. Now, if I played 4 quarter notes in 4/4 time, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm just using one hand because I'm lazy, I'm tired, and I'm old. So we're going to play just one note, one hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 quarter notes. Now, if I said, go to page 10, the first measure, you have 2 eighth notes and 3 quarter notes. Now, there's a few different ways to count this. When I see this page, I'm going to say, all right, let's do eighth note counting. Eighth note counting is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, so now I'm going to use that counting system to play the first measure. And this time, I'll use both hands, all right? I won't be so lazy. So now we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, I don't want to get complicated. I want to be very simple. You understand this, then we're going to take this on a hell of a journey, okay? We're going to make this a whole lot of fun. And also, come Monday or Tuesday, when I have the sheets for you, I'm going to show you a foolproof way to read this without, oh man, I forgot what that was. And I'm going to show you how to proof it, okay? So let's do line 1, page 10. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Do we all understand that? Now I used eighth note counting. 1 and 2 and 3 and line measure 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Do we all understand that? Very basic reading. I need to have some response here. Do we all understand what I just did and how I counted? Any questions about it? You understand it, Dennis? Okay, Mr. Mante, do you understand it? Now this is where you got to go, Hoist. If it needs a lot of work. Well, here's where you got to start, and you got to get it right. Okay, and you got Jimmy, Stacy. You understand it? What page in the sync page? Pay attention, Paul. Page 10. I have the old version. 2 eighths and a quarter. Now, this is something you want to do. You want to make the distinction between the eighths and the quarters now if you don't know how to read. Or you want to brush up on your reading, or you want to enhance your writing or reading skills. Here's where you start. Well, here's where I start because I have to find out where everybody's at. Now, page 10, line 1, he has a four measure increment, and that 4 measure increment's all the same. So now, I would advise you at first to just play the line without a metronome, okay? And do the eighth note counting, like so. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 tinga. 1 and 2 and 3. Last measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now when I count staccato. Does everybody here know what the term staccato means? Paul? Does everybody know what staccato means? Okay. I need some response here. Staccato. What is staccato? Don't look it up in the book. You should either know it or you don't. I need one response at least. Staccato. Very good, Dennis. Very good. Staccato means short sounding. Now, when I'm counting this, I'm lagging. I'm going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now I'm going to do that same thing again, but this time I'm going to count staccato. I don't want to tighten it up, but I want to make that spacing not stiff, but right on. Now listen to my count. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. See that? No, Paul. Crisp. All right. Well, you can say crisp, but it's like, you know, I mean, I don't know how many people here have been in the armed services, but you know, when you go to basic training, you learn how to march, or you're in a marching band. Hup, doop, doop, boop. The sound is short when he's counting, so you're marching in tempo. Everything is related. It's short sounding. So I'm counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, do we all understand that first line on page 10? Now, I highly recommend first understand the notation in the counting system. We're only using one counting system here. It's the 8th note. Yes, Mr. Intellectual Jim. Jimmy got that from a book, everybody. He's got his sax book open. He's practicing sax while he's listening to this. Jimmy, you're a trip, man. Okay. All right, anyway, everybody knows how to play. And you're right, crisp could be another adjective. Line 1. Everybody know how to play that and count it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Do we all understand the first measure, the first line? You understand it, Hoist? Okay. Old dog, he understands it. Well, what you said and what you were trying to say, Paul, it's two different things. Okay, we all could play that line. Now, all it is, page 10 and 11 are variables of the 8th note and the quarter note. Okay? So, if you can play you could play from line 1 to the 20-bar exercise, the last measure, without a mistake, you're in business. Without a metronome. Now, we're not using any accents. We're not using any dynamics. So now, once you're familiar with it, you feel good with it. Once you're familiar with it and you got it right, turn the metronome on. That's 60. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, I don't want to start using the metronome. That's a half note, that's a whole note, because we're going to get into a big thing of this cut time shit, okay? So when you guys come here, you're going to definitely understand the difference, what I was saying with the cut time, okay? But now, if you feel good with it, hit it at 60. Do the same thing. From the first line, number 1, to the 20-bar exercise, no mistakes. You feel good with it? Fine. Bring it up. Let's say you've been doing it for a while and you want to do, let's say 130. Nah, it's not fast. It's fast for reading, I guess. That's 1 and 2 and 3. I'm going to play page 10. Second line. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 3, 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, I'm not going to, I could count 8th notes all the way through, but by the time I get to the 20-bar exercise, to the last measure, you're going to have to give me some oxygen. There's a lot of counting. Okay? So there's simpler ways to count it, but right now we'll slow it down and just count it with 8th notes. Now, how I like to do this, and to make it interesting, and to have some fun with reading, I used to say, oh, Jesus, the Haskell Hardbook, page 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, whatever. It was boring as all hell. But you're learning the math. You're learning how to read it. You're not sight reading. It's a book. You can read it. So to have fun with this, we could do a few options, and we've done them with the stick control book. Now, I'm going to play this sound here. I don't have the drum set here, right? I'm going to play this with my right hand. I'm going to play my left hand constant. And I'm going to play the line down with my right hand. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3. Line 2, 1. And when I get to the drum set, I'll show you. But that's a fun thing to do, and it really strengthens your reading. Now, I don't want to give you, say, all right, we just did eighth notes with the left hand. We're not going to go and say, all right, let's play triplets with the left hand and play that down with the right hand. Now we have polyrhythms. I don't want to go there tonight. I want to learn your basic concept of reading, okay? So let's turn the page. Why does he do this all of a sudden? He goes to the dot, and I don't know why. I don't like this. So let's go to the Buddy Rich book. Everybody have the Buddy Rich book? I don't like what he just did there. I'm mad at him. Go to the Buddy Rich book, page 65. We already did quarter notes and eighth notes. Correct? What is this now, Dennis? Let me see. Lines 6 and 7. Hold on. I don't see tie. There's no tie here. But I understand. I think I understand what you're saying. All right. It's a matter of how he wrote it. Nothing has really changed. If you look at line, was that line 5 or 6 rather? You look at line 6, you have a quarter note that's equal to 2 eighth notes. 1, and. Go to the second downbeat, 2, and. Third downbeat, 3, and. Then the quarter note, 4, and. It doesn't really matter how we arranged it. It's a quarter note, eighth note. All right? Now we go to you go to line 7, you have 2 quarter notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Simple. Don't worry about the uniformity of the way he's writing. Just think of it mathematically. What I like to do, Dennis, I think it's time for you to take a Skype lesson. You need some help with the reading, big time, I see. Okay? So if you have Skype, contact me on Skype and we'll talk about it. All right, everybody have the Buddy Rich book, page 65. Now, if you go to page 65, we have a combinations here of quarter notes, eighth notes, and 16th notes. So I say, okay, 16th is the widest denominator here, so I'm going to count 16th notes. How do I count 16th notes? You guys should know the counting. Don't look at his count, 1 and. I count it 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. We got it, guys? 16th note counting. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. You got it, Hoist? All right. Good. Everybody else have page 65? We're going to do the first measure. And I'm going to do it really slow, and I'm going to count 16th notes. Now, remember in the beginning of the lesson, I asked how many eighths are equal to 6, how many, I mean, whatever the question was, you got it right anyway. How many 16ths equal an eighth? You said 2, you're right. So the math don't change. And now he's in 4-4. 4-4 means, what is this? You just noticed the new board. Oh, okay. Jimmy, pay attention. Okay, you have Skype, Dennis? And we have page 65. Okay, now we're going to count the first measure. We're going to count the whole page. But first, we're going to work with the first measure. We have a quarter note, then we have 4 eighth notes, and then 4 16ths. So we're going to count 16th notes. I'm going to play the first downbeat. 1, E, and, da. I finished 1. Now I go to 2 eighth notes. So 2 16ths equal 1 eighth. 2, E, and, da. And again, 3, E, and, da. Then 4 16ths. 4, E, and, da. Now let me play just the first measure again. 1, E, and, 2, E, and, 3, E, and, 4, E, and, All right, I'll write it out for you if I get time, old dog, and I'll send it to you, okay? You don't need the book. I have the new ones. Stacy has the new ones as well. Hey, Stacy, what you want to do with the new one, try not to, it's nice, I'm not saying don't use the book. That's why you have it. I have them brand new, and I don't really open them, and I hide them, because one day they're going to be worth money. Classic. All right? Like I told Robert. Robert was looking for that book, Rudimental Swing and 150 Rudimental Solos. He went on Amazon. It's a $15 book. It's out of print. You know how much they want for it now? $280 for one book. I'll write it out, old dog. All right. Now, we have the first measure, 1 quarter note, 4 eighth notes, and 4 16ths. 1, E, and, 2, E, and, 3, E, and, 4, E, and, I'm going to start making some videos. Like I have a lot of time. All right, the first 3 measures are that. The same thing. When I come to the 4th measure, now it changed. I have 2 eighth notes, 4 16ths, and 1 quarter, and then a quarter note rest. Yes, that's it, Robert. Page 65. So now I'm going to do the last measure. Okay? 2 eighth notes. 1, E, and, 2, E, and, 3, E, and, 4, E, and, That's a lot of counting. A lot of counting. Stacy, do you understand it? Hoist? Jimmy? Dennis? What's a freeload on VDoc? What is that? I don't understand what that is, Jimmy. Tell everybody what you're talking about. That's pretty vague. Free download. What's a free download? Of the Buddy Rich book? If you can do that, fine. That's pirating a book. That's against the law, but hey, get away with it. You understand it? Now, we're not trying to do speed. We're trying to break up the mathematics. The quarter note, the eighth notes, the 16th notes. Now we go to line number 2. You have line 1 and 1B. You understand it? All right. We'll go into line number 2. Line number 2, you have 4 16ths, 2 quarters, and an eighth. Let me play that for you. 1, E, and quarter note. 2, E, and quarter note. 3, E, and 4, E, and. Simple reading. Do we understand that What are you talking about triple Rademacher for, Robert? There's no, I'm so far away from that. Triple Rademacher. What are you talking about triple Rademacher? You understand, Hoist? Dennis understands. Robert, where'd you come up with the triple Rademachers? That's not a triple Rademacher. That's reading quarter notes, eighth notes, and sixteenths. We're going someplace else. You're going someplace else with that. Line 2 is 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and. I don't know where you get. Oh, you got the wrong book. The Buddy Rich book. Page 65. Let me know when you get page 65. Guys are killing me. Line number 2, I'm going to play it all the way through. And if there's any question with any measure there, shoot it out to me. Line 2, I'm going to do it slow. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Do we all understand that line, number 2? Yes, page 65, Robert. You're on page 65. Anybody have any questions about the second line, line number 2? Line number 2, page 65 in the Buddy Rich book. If I don't get any questions, I'm going to go right to line 3. The objective of me doing this is to see if there's any misunderstanding. You got it, Dennis? Okay. Yes, you understand? Right. Okay, good. That's the object of me doing this, is to see who's who here and who doesn't understand. You understand? Old dog understands. Okay. We're going to go to line 3. Okay? 4/16 a quarter note. 4/16 a quarter note. That's the first measure. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Now that repeats itself 3 times. All right, it's best, I'm trying to have you guys all be on the same page here, all right? What does it say, lesson 77? Which book are you in, Robert? Oh, Lord. Page 65. No. No. We're on page 65. So you got the new book. All right, hold on. Your book, the new book like this, will be page 77. This is the book you have, correct? If you have this one, it's page 77. No, it's not page, I'm sorry. Oh, what is, page 76. Page 66, that is. Or 76, I said 76. Man, why did they screw this all up? Yeah, all right, you're in a new book. In the back of the book. Page 76. Exercise 5. That's correct, Paul. Yeah, exercise 5 in your book. See, I have the old version, but I have the new version as well, and that's the one you guys have. Okay, so that's page 76, exercise 5. I better put this book out because it might be dead. This guy screwed everything all up. Thank you, Mr. McKenzie. Lordy, Lord. Let's get to it. Yeah, he did. Jesus Christ. I guess I got to work from this book. All right. We're on exercise 5, page 66. All right. Line number 3. Everybody ready for that? Line number 3. Okay, 16th no counting we're doing here. 1 E and a play E and 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Julian, who's that? Battersby? Oh man, my eyes. Gotta wash my glasses off. Sorry. Who might you be, Julian? Robert, Dennis, Paul, Jim, Hoist, Old Dog, Stacy. Do we all understand it? Line number 3, a little up-tempo. Well, Julian, you need to talk to me if it's your first time here. Robert, you got it? Dennis? Paul? Well, so are we all. Julian, we're all drummers. Except we got a sax player in the audience. Okay. You got it, Julian? Yep, all right. All right. I'm just trying to find out where everybody's at. Can you guys deal with that? We're gonna reach a spot where you can't read it, and that's where we're gonna begin. All right, you'll understand it. All right, I guess we're gonna start getting into a little trouble if we go to the next page. All right, page 77. That's exercise number 6. Julian, above your name there, you see my email. Email me, I'll put you on my mailing list, and you'll get the week's agenda, the time and location. Huh. I think he's gone. Okay. Page 77, everybody on it? Okay, which one was I on? Page, line 3. I was on exercise 5, line 3. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Okay. What is line 3? The last measure, correct? You had the Buddy Rich book. Line 3, the last measure. Quarter note, 1 E and 4/16, 2 E and 2/8 notes, 3 E and then the quarter note, 4 E and Old dog, is that Gmail? You have Gmail for your sign up? Hey Jimmy, you're supposed to get back to me what I asked you for. Now you're holding things up for me. You get back to me with that. Your user's name and the email you use to sign up. You too, old dog. What is no, I'm E? I don't know what you're saying, old dog. All right. Now, let's go into another journey. We all seem to understand the distinction between quarter notes, eighth notes, and 16th notes. Now we're going to mix up the eighth notes and 16th notes. Now, here was the first question of the night. How many 16ths equal an eighth? And Dennis got the door prize. 2 16ths, okay, equal 1/8 note. Now we'll go into page 77, lesson, as exercise number 6. Okay, page 77, exercise 6, first and second measure. We have a combination, eighth note and 2 16ths, just on the downbeat, an eighth note and 2 16ths. So the eighth note equals 2 16ths. The 16th equals itself, so you have 2 of them. That's a total of 4 16ths. So I have the first downbeat, 1, E, and, the. Then we go down 2, E, and, the. 3, E, and, the. 4, E, and, the. That was the first measure. First measure, 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 and the. So the first three measures are the same. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E, a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E, a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Now the fourth measure, the only thing that will, you have an eighth note, 2 16ths, 1 E and the, then 2 eighth notes, 2 E and the, then the quarter note, 3 E and the, and then 4 is the rest, 4 E and the. So I'm going to play line 1, okay? The 4 measures, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. But notice when I'm playing that, my right hand and my left hand sound the same. That comes from working from, what book is that called again? Oh, the stick control book. Half strokes. Remember that? That's where it's all going to start to fall into place now. Now, I go to line number 2. Eighth note and 2 16ths. 1 E and the. The second downbeat, 2 eighth notes. 2 E and the. Third downbeat, eighth note and 2 16ths. 3 E and the. And the fourth downbeat, it's hard. I'm not going to say all of that stuff. If just guys, try to follow me. Line number 2, page 77. I'm going to do it slow. If there's something you don't understand, please speak up. I'm assuming, and that's a bad thing sometimes to do, but I know you guys. So from where we were this morning, at the beginning of this lesson to where we are now, there has been really no questions. So I'm assuming everybody understands the math and the reading. I hope that that's correct. So now I'm going to do line number 2. I'm going to do it slow. And again, if you have a question, please speak up. Line number 2. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 E and a. Sorry, missed the last measure. I went down to the next line. Line 2, the last measure. 1 E and the, 2 E and the, 3 E and the, 4 E and the. Any questions on that one? The second line, everybody understand it? Stacy, Hoist, Dennis, Robert, Jimmy, Old Dog, Paul. Everybody understand that? I'm going to go to line number 3 now, if there's no questions. Line number 3, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 E and the, 2 E and the, 3 E and the, 4 E and the, 1 E and the, 2 E and the, 3 E and the, 4 E and the, 1 E and the, 2 E and the, 3 E and the, 4 E and the. The last bar where? Which one? On line 2 or line 3? Old Dog. I'll tell you what, Old Dog. See if you could get the book, or like Jimmy said, to go to that website and download it. Then we'll get back to it. You said the last bar, again, please, not a problem. What line? And Robert understands it. I think I'm better off, so everybody has the reading, to send the PDF. But I just don't have the time this week to make the PDF, the previous one. That's line 2, okay? Line 2 would be 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and... Old Dog, you have the book? All right. I'm going to try to write something up. It's kind of hard to do this. And nobody's speaking up whether they know it or they don't know it or there's any questions. Any questions on what we've done tonight so I know what we're doing. I didn't do line 3. Sure did. Oh, no, I didn't. I'm sorry, Bob. All right. Line 3. 1 E, boom. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and no questions, no questions. And I just played it for you, Robert, line 3. All right, tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to try. Maybe I should do it in a little bit after I close up. Send you 2 sheets on some reading so we all have the same sheet. Okay, guys? But everybody understands it so far. And we all have the syncopation book and the Buddy Rich book, and plus whatever I'm going to send you, okay? You need, well, right now, all right, let me just talk about that. Dennis, you just said, you know, you don't count all the way through. Well, somewhere in there in your mind or something, in the rhythm, there is a count going on. In the beginning, when you learn how to read, counting is essential. That's the level. Maybe you're you're here with the counting. As you play it over and over again, the counting's still there, but you're going to let it go, and you're going to hum the tune, like instead of 1 E and the 2 and the 3 E and the 4 and the ba boo doo da boo doo da. So you're going to start to develop a musical platform. Robert, I don't know what page you're on, man. 77, line number 3. That's not on your page? Hello from the Cypress Island. How you doing, Raphael? And you say that's not on your page, line 3? You go to the beginning of the line, it says line 3. You're on line 2 is what you're on, because you counted down the page. Absolutely, Dennis. Robert, look at line number 3. Raphael, what time is it there? Absolutely. Ba-doop-a-dee-pop, ba-doop-a-dee-pop. You become to the next level. You have to understand the math, the counting system, the tempo. There's a lot of things involved. And once you feel good with it, then instead of 1 E and a 2 E and a 3, I mean, if you're reading a chart, I'm not counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. I'm hearing the tune. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, boo-doo-doo-dee-dow. That was a moment's notice. No problem, Robert. All right, let me try to get something together. I can't guarantee it. I have a lot. I want to get this book completed. I'm on page 130. I want to at least get it to the printer by Friday. Okay. Raphael, you're from Cypress Island. What time is it there? All right, it's time to split. Tomorrow afternoon, 1 p.m. Okay? We will continue with the reading. See, all the things I've been giving you, like the paradiddle ostinato, or the ostinato patterns, or the stick control book. If you didn't know how to read this, how the hell are you doing it? You got to come up, man up, say, yo, I don't understand it. Be humble. If you speak to me and say, I don't understand it, then we're going to work with it. If you don't tell me, I don't know. Hey, Dennis, get on Skype with me. My Skype contact is Matt Patella 1. I want to talk to you. All right, let me leave. Got a lot of work ahead of me tonight. It's going to be a long, long night. Have a good night, guys.